is that one to really do him good all the days of his life.
One of the Duggars' youngest daughters, Johanna, might be in some big trouble. According to a rumor, her parents have been trying to marry her off for several years now. And now that she's turned 18, there's nothing stopping them. But why is Jim Bob allegedly so desperate to get his younger daughters out of the house? And what's the real truth behind the rumors surrounding Johanna? The Duggars aren't exactly known to be the most easygoing family out there. They've been micromanaging every detail of their kids' lives for years now. But what they seem to be planning for Johanna is worse than the kinds of things they've done before. People on Reddit have been discussing that the Duggars seem really eager to get their younger daughters married off as soon as possible. For a long time, they seem to be actively looking for someone to pair Johanna off with. But these rumors go back several years to a point when Johanna was nowhere near old enough for any of this. She just turned 18 in October 2023, which means that she's now legally an adult and can get married. But back in early to mid 2021, she was still only 15 years old, and the idea of someone trying to marry off a 15-year-old is just disturbing. The kind of thing that just shouldn't be happening at all. And the thought that it would be the kid's own parents arranging it is just unforgivable. Sadly, underage marriages can and do happen even today and in modern society. And Johannah Duggar might not have been that far from that fate herself either, at least if the rumors from Reddit are to be believed. Back in 2021, people started saying that it looked like Johanna might be in the middle of a sort of courting process. I say sort of because it wasn't exactly official or by the book. The Duggars are way too out there in the public eye to be able to participate in child marriage officially, but what they were allegedly doing with Johanna seemed more like a kind of pre-courting process. She and her parents were apparently seen socializing with a certain family in a very specific way. It wasn't just a two families hanging out kind of situation. It was more purposeful than that, like there was a reason they were meeting up. And the Redditors claim that this happened more than once. The family in question was actually the Bowers family. The Bowerses are known to be in the IBLP just like the Duggars, and they're also supposedly similarly deeply involved with the church. So there's no doubt that Jim Bob would consider one of their sons to be a perfect match for his daughter. According to the rumor, the son in question would have been Carver Bowers, which makes the whole courting theory even more upsetting because he's actually a whole 4 years older than Johanna. Now, between adults, that's a completely appropriate age gap for a couple to have, but the problem is that Johanna was definitely not an adult. She was just 15 years old when the rumors first emerged, which would make Carver 19 already, an adult himself. The Duggars weren't just allegedly trying to marry their daughter off at the incredible young age of 15. If the rumors are true, they would have been marrying her off to a fully grown adult man. People on Reddit even brought up a picture of the two families together that looked like things might have already been put into motion. On the surface, this was just a group photo of some family friends hanging out, but people pointed out that it actually looked like there might have been more purpose behind the photo being taken. It was apparently taken after the Bowers family came over to the Duggars' house and stayed the night, and that seemed like a casual enough thing to do, just family friends visiting with a sleepover. But the photo itself didn't exactly look casual, it looked set up, and people on Reddit were saying that it looked an awful lot like a picture that two families would take after closing the deal on a betrothal. That would also explain why the Bowerses were staying the night at the Duggars' house in the first place. And obviously, this is just speculation. There isn't any real and conclusive evidence that what's actually happened, but there is the fact that after this, Johanna apparently just kept being seen hanging out with the Bowerses. One time, she was even seen sitting in the car with a bunch of them, along with her younger Jennifer. So, like I said, it's possible that this was all the pre-courtship process. It wouldn't have been an actual courtship yet, but the two families would have just let her and Carver hang out together and get used to each other until Johanna was old enough for something else. But all along, there would have been a definite purpose to it, and neither Johanna nor Carver would have been under any illusion as to why they were actually being made to spend so much time together. It's not exactly the same thing as child marriage, but it's pretty much just one step away from it. Although we do have to question whether the rumors and the theory behind the family photo are actually true. The thing is, back then, Carver actually took to his Instagram stories and denied all of it. He was answering questions from his followers, and one person asked if he and Johanna were dating. Carver responded that they weren't, they were just family friends. So that should be the end of it, right? Except technically he didn't deny they were courting. To the Duggars, courting and dating are definitely not the same thing. And if Carver and Johanna were actually in a pre-courting phase of their alleged relationship, family friends is exactly what they would be called. That would last most likely right up until around Johanna's 18th birthday, at which point the families would just announce the two of them were getting married seemingly out of nowhere. But obviously Johanna just turned 18 a few months ago, and luckily right now it doesn't actually look like she and Carver will be getting married anytime soon. Most importantly, because Carver's actually in a relationship with someone else. He and his girlfriend Haley Paul keep posting couple photos together on Instagram, and it seems like they've been going steady since at least August 2023. So it seems obvious that if there was any courtship going on between Carver and Johanna, it didn't lead to them actually getting together. Maybe there never even was a courtship in the first place, but the fact remains that it really did look like Jim Bob was trying to marry Johanna off, and he definitely would have had a lot of reasons to want to do that. These rumors first surfaced right around the time that Josh got arrested, and that really more than anything else seems to have been the final blow to the Duggars' reputation. Before, they used to be one of the most respected families in the IBLP, and they were important too because of the TV show they had, the whole world watching them. It was bringing attention to the IBLP too, but then the show ended and they lost that privilege in the church. And then when Josh got exposed and arrested, they likely lost most of the rest of their respect. They were also getting no more money for being on TV. Obviously, caring for kids costs a lot of money, so I can only imagine that Jim Bob would be eager to get the kids out of the house as quickly as possible. But because of the IBLP rules, the girls are only allowed to move out once they get married. So that would absolutely be a big reason for him to look for potential suitors for his daughters early. Not to mention that because of everything, it wouldn't have been as simple to find one as it was in the past. Before, when the Duggars were on top of the world, all the other families were almost fighting over the chance to have one of their kids marry a Duggar. But after the show ended and Josh was exposed, the interest would have lowered pretty significantly. So maybe Jim Bob started to feel like he had to race against time to marry his younger daughters off. But obviously, all of that is just theories. So what do you guys think? Do you believe that Johanna and Carver Bowers were actually courting a couple of years ago? What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Let me know in the comments below.